Levin of the St. Louis Jewish Light. Welcome to another edition of Hey Hey 5 and 5. Today we are visiting with Judy Abrams, who is the Associate Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer of the St. Louis Jewish Federation. Judy, welcome.
Thank you.
So while most folks in the Jewish community are familiar with the Federation's annual campaign and the programs it performs and the agencies it supports, I guess that most have no clue whatsoever of what it actually takes to run the day-to-day operations of this multi-million-dollar agency, which you oversee. Even your title shows just how complex it is. Can you give us a quick rundown of the areas that cross your desk on a regular basis?
My areas of responsibility were defined sometimes as everything but development.
As with many nonprofits, the Federation's been deeply affected by the recession, of course. We hear the numbers about the annual campaign, and we know the Federation's doing everything it can to meet its fundraising goals. But if you would, talk about, from your vantage point and the work you do, how operational shortages can impact your ability to manage the Federation's operations most effectively.
The financial shortfall is challenging. It makes the allocations process more difficult than it is certainly when there are more dollars to give away, and making the decisions for how to allocate those funds is difficult and thought-provoking under any circumstances, and when funds are shorter it's obviously much more difficult. We involve a lot of community members in that process, and so it's a difficult task for us to ask community leaders to take on also, to make those hard decisions about how to allocate funds, especially when they're short. We've certainly over the past couple of years had a significant challenge in managing the endowment, as the investment opportunities and the investment results have been so much more difficult. 2008 was obviously a tough year. 2009 on the investment side much better, and 2010 we've done we've just paid a lot of careful attention throughout all of this to manage those investments more.
Can you talk about that a little bit, and how you manage the assets to smooth out some of the pain that otherwise might hit the community?
The investment policy for Federation, which manages the roughly $100 million endowment, that includes about $20 million that come from pooled funds that are from agencies and organizations within the community that have chosen to pool their funds with Federation. The investment policy describes a very diversified portfolio, and it covers a wide variety of asset classes. The diversified portfolio really is designed to protect the portfolio from significant market risk in any one area by having the assets allocated across so many asset classes.
One of the Federation's main thrusts the last couple of years, and this has been a good thrust especially given the recession, has been to encourage agencies to seek efficiencies and economies in operation, including collaboration and cooperation when appropriate. We've seen agencies take this to heart in some instances, and we've seen public discussions about synagogues that are looking at some of those opportunities. Why are collaborations so important from your perspective? And can you perhaps mention some situations where you've really hit it out of the park and where they've worked really well, and then maybe some where they haven't met your expectations?
Collaborations are important for both the financial opportunity and the effectiveness and efficiency kind of opportunity that you mentioned, as well as for building community. When we come together, it builds a lot of new relationships. One of the things that's been the most visible, the most pragmatic, and the most directly beneficial to many organizations when it comes to a community collaboration is the Jewish Community Insurance Program. One of the ideas that group brought to us, and it's closely related, and that is to try to form a larger health insurance group. It's a much more challenging task because of the regulatory environment and the ways in which the insurers are interested in looking at groups, because many of those items have such heavy research components to them and are not very straightforward processes in which to make plans and decisions. It's been challenging to hold back that opportunity until we have something very specific to offer.
Understand. And finally, like your colleague at Cage, Sonia Davinsky, who we talked to a couple weeks ago, you also come from the corporate world. And one of the expectations in the coming year was that you would and could bring your for-profit expertise to cultivate best management practices. How do you feel you've been able to do that, and where do you see progress, or lack thereof, in the Jewish community's agencies in employing best practices?
At Federation, I've been really pleased with the the way in which we've improved some of the professionalism in the HR area. Professional excellence and JPRO programming has really brought, I think, a lot of new ideas and additional professionalism to the to our overall group of Jewish community professionals.
Judy, thank you so much for joining us on Hey Hey 5 and 5. Till next time, this is Larry Levin saying goodbye, and thanks for watching.